This is an experiment. What do billionaires, cultural icons, and world class athletes have in common? I'm about to find out. I'm John Aguilar, serial entrepreneur, former decathlete, and creator and host of the CNN Philippines business reality show The Final Pitch. Each week, I try to unlock the secrets of Asia's world class performers to come up with hacks that I can apply in my own life. My goal is to have you apply them in yours. This is the podcast designed to change your life. This is Methods to Greatness. Methods to Greatness is powered by Converge. Experience better. If you'd like to work with Converge, check them out at gofiber.ph or connect with them through their social media channels. Methods to Greatness is also powered by Perfect Health Philippines, a leading provider of innovative and premium massage and healthcare products to customers across Southeast Asia. This partnership is all about improving people's lives, health, and well-being. Visit perfecthealthph.com to know more. Greetings to our listeners from the Philippines, Asia, and beyond. As a firm believer in the use of technology to enhance the diagnosis, treatment, and monitoring of patients, our next interviewee has close to 30 years of experience in heading a business to support the management of patients with neurophysiological, respiratory, and sleep disorder conditions. His keen interest in ambulatory and portable medical devices was what led him to develop an on-the-go portable sleep diagnostics program, wherein patients with sleep disorders can be monitored even outside the confines of a medical center. His latest venture as an entrepreneur is focused on bridging the technology awareness gap among patients by making use of robotics to take physiotherapy or rehabilitation to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome today on Methods to Greatness, Mr. Chien Han. Mr. Chien Han, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
One of the first things that I would like for you to shed light on is what we call obstructive sleep apnea. I've been doing a lot of research on what you do, and I think this is a particular area of concern that not a lot of people are aware of. Would you mind breaking it down for us exactly what obstructive sleep apnea means, or in general, what sleep apnea is?
Well, sleep apnea is very closely associated with loud habitual snoring. So these are the very common complaints from the bed partner, especially the wife, and then it will pushes the husband to go to seek for treatment because they probably cannot sleep in the same room or on the same bed. So the diagnosis of obstructive sleep apnea is usually to conduct a sleep study test where people like us, technologists, would go and stick wires all over them, on the head, on the face, at the nose to detect the breathing, and then there are straps around the body to detect respiratory effort, and then body position, limb movements, and electrocardiogram, and all this, and then it's all presented on a digital graphical format, where after the acquiring of all this data, we would look through and score all the events and come up with a report for the referring physician.
Right. So sleep apnea, I would think, and this is a half joke, but would probably be the source of a lot of divorces out
Probably,
there.
yeah, probably. And then this is actually the collapses of the airway, where the breathing will cease momentarily, like for a minute or two, and then it will end up with a loud snort, where the subject will regain the breathing, and usually that is the loudest from the snoring, like a loud snort.
Right. I stumbled upon a video of your one of your patients, and I saw that this patient was being monitored, and the snoring was just really, really bad. It was, and I saw your patient gasping for breath, gasping for air, almost as if he was drowning, and this actually jolted him to maybe a half awake state of being. But just witnessing that, just him struggling for air and just gasping for breath, was quite scary. I mean, I almost felt like he was drowning
Yeah,
somehow.
if you were to observe, when this apnea happens, it's actually quite scary because it's like they will be like struggling for breath, but they just can't get any air into their lungs. So it's something like strangulation. If the patient is awake, it's like you are just practically just closing closing on them, and then they cannot breathe at all. But they are here trying to suck the air in, but no air can go in. Yeah. So this thing, like for severe obstructive sleep apnea, can happen hundreds of times a night. And usually we will score it like how many times per hour. So our record can be like 120 times an hour.
Wow, I can just imagine the entire night you not barely getting enough sleep. I mean, you are technically asleep, but I would think
Yeah,
it
you
won't
keep
be
arousing, you
reasonably
keep waking up and sleep,
right.
waking up and sleep. Yeah. So that really affects your sleep quality, and you wake up very lethargic, sleepy, and you might end up dozing off all the time in the day. Yeah.
Right. Well, this really is a serious condition that I'm sure a lot of patients out there who come to you have maybe gone to a certain point in their lives where they really need to seek help. Because I would think if you were uh, you said it right there, if you were married to someone who just really can't stand it, it's not just your quality of life that's affected, it's also your partner's wakefulness also, that is a constant, when you share the same bed or same room.
Yeah. Yes.
What would you say is the primary reason behind this condition?
Well, I would say the cause most that we see nowadays is the structural, uh, where they have receding chin, or thick neck, or enlarged tongue. It's more physiological sort of obstruction that we see.
Okay, so thick neck. How does one get a thick neck? Does it have anything to do with, for example, gaining weight, or possibly a certain body type that would make you predisposed to this condition?
Gaining weight is one. So we see like a lot of fat people who have this problem, but we also see more and more very fit ones, like even gym instructor, or athletes having this. So it could be passed down in the genes. If the dad has it, and then the son would have it, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, and this is a condition where if you do not have it treated, can lead to possibly long-term
Health condition. Yeah, yeah,
health condition.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah. Because it affects the brain, it affects the heart, because the heart has to pump faster in order to supply enough blood to all the organs in the body, and then also a lack of blood going to the brain. So all this will affect the overall health. So it might lead to like diabetes, heart condition, stroke, and all this. Yeah. So it's really quite a chronic problem.
Yes, and in your sleepwear center, your job mainly is to be able to observe, I guess, all of these metrics that you have, and try to come up with a way to be able to treat this condition.
Yes, yes. The conventional sleep laboratory used to be like only in a hospital settings, and then it could be in a big room where you have all the gadgets and camera, videos, and then you need to link it to another room, which is the computer room, where the technologies will be there to monitor for the test for the whole night. So my strength is actually to make it ambulatory. So I'm able to pack it all in a suitcase, and I can actually cut it to wherever the patient can sleep. and then set up the cameras, and the acquisition equipment and all that to conduct this sleep study test.
Right. So you can do it from the confines of your home. Just take everything with you.
Anywhere where the patient can sleep. Yeah.
Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense, particularly now. I guess we're still in the pandemic, and there is a lot of concern about people going to the hospitals. And this is, I guess, a way to be able to continue your work in the confines of someone's private space or home. Mr. Chen, it is very interesting to me how you stumbled upon this particular business. Is there anything from your past that prepared you, or I guess, um, uh, as an entrepreneur, urged you to be able to come up with problems very specific to this condition?
Like for Singaporeans, every male have to go through this army. So I went through 2.5 years, and I was a medic in the army.
Okay.
Yeah. So after graduate from the army, naturally I would like to look for a medical job. So I enrolled in this company which actually does all this sleep equipment. So that's how I got started. So and then eventually I want to be more serious into it, and that's how I wanted to do something on my own, and how I started the business.
Okay. So that
Yeah.
was the first that was your first business, and you then transitioned to another business, which is the Robotics Rehab Center. Can you take us through the transition from that first business to your new business now?
Well, I think maybe also a bit of the blessing from the COVID, which let me seriously think that I should diversify and not just only do sleep. So I chanced upon this robotics rehab, actually from a close friend who used to be in the sleep business. Is actually my supplier. So he has switched to robotics rehab, and then after chatting with him, what he has been doing, made me wanted to go into it, because I think that the rehab, uh, especially robotics rehab, make use of a lot of equipment, which in my sleep business is also making use of a lot of equipment, and they are all very stationary, very capital equipment, very bulky. And I wanted to do something as to make it ambulatory. So actually that was my objective going into it. Yeah. But I think there's still a lot of room to play, because the equipment is still very bulky, and it has to be very bulky. So I think maybe there are certain areas where we can make it more ambulatory.
Okay. Before we go deeper into that, I'd like to go back again because I would like to get a little bit more information on sleep in general. In terms of sleep, how important is sleep to us for us to function normally?
Well, 1/3 of our life is spent sleeping. So you can weigh the importance of sleep. And having good quality sleep means you can perform better in the day, including your work or family life or whatever. So it's very important, to sleep well. And obstructive sleep apnea is one important what you call condition that affects the quality of sleep. I mean, I don't only look at obstructive sleep apnea alone, actually, in a professional sleep center, because you look at other sleep disorders, there could be about 40 over sleep disorder classified. So, like sleepwalking, night terrors, and all this is also considered sleep disorders.
Okay, what would you say is the ideal amount of sleep that a person should get for a person to be able to function well, and also to be able to derive the benefits of a full night's sleep?
Well, I think the numbers of sleep varies from person to person, but the research have shown that you need at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep to perform well in the day.
So what happens to us if we do not get that 6 to 8 hours of sleep?
Then, the energy level is not there. And, in sleep, our body kind of like recuperate itself, builds up the energy. And then especially children, we also do quite a lot of sleep studies for children. So the growth hormones actually is there when a child sleep well, then you'll grow better. So it's very important to have a good quality sleep.
Right. From your research, what has been the best treatment for a sleep apnea disorder that you yourself, because of your business, I guess, would recommend to people who are suffering from obstructive sleep apnea or other conditions that affect their sleep?
Well, the first line of treatment for obstructive sleep apnea now is actually using a breathing machine called a CPAP, which is CPAP, which stands for continuous positive airway pressure. So it's basically like wearing a face mask, a nasal mask, and then connected to a tube connected to a machine, which is like a blower, a vacuum cleaner in reverse. So it actually gives you an air sprint, a continuous flow of air to sprint open the airway. So the airway have no chance to collapse, and you can have regular non-interrupted breathing from it.
That's very interesting and quite intimidating for me at the same time. I would think that would be something that would be mostly found in hospitals, but are you saying now that that is something that can easily be used in one's home?
Yes. Actually, the design of this machine is for patients to bring back home to use and use it every night. So it has become smaller in size. The mask is becoming more comfortable, more easy to put on and use it for a long time. I mean, overnight. And the noise level is going down. Is very quiet. So it's actually all the design of it and everything makes it more and more easier to use now. But it's still a challenge, I would say, for many people because you have been sleeping without anything on your face, and now
Right.
you have to put this thing on. So I think part of our the job for our therapists in the sleep center is basically to motivate and to encourage people to use it. And they are monitoring cloud-based system where you can actually monitor how they breathe, how they use, how many hours they use. So this is also an important factor to make them compliant to the machine.
Right. Apart from the machine, is there anything that you would like to give or dispense in terms of advice for people who would like to get more sleep or more quality sleep in general?
Well, I think is the sleep hygiene to kind of like time yourself so that you have regular you sleep at the same time and you wake up at the same time. It's important. Um, and also to relax yourself uh, and not to eat so much before you sleep. So I think all this is important also to have a good sleep.
Methods to Greatness is powered by Converge. Experience better. Converge has been an instrumental partner for myself, for our organization, because everything we do right now is digital. Everything involves liaising, coordinating with people, with other companies, and all of this is done online. And our medium, being video, is very, very highly data-driven. We need a stable, reliable internet connection to make everything we do work. What Converge has given us was a way to be able to successfully carry out all of the tasks of the team, reach out to our audience, to our market, and also allowed us to be able to create more things with what we do. My team has been a direct beneficiary of this. I think this pandemic has given us a lot of opportunities to pivot, and this is our latest pivot into the future, which really is a digital world. For Methods to Greatness, I'm interviewing world-class performers, icons, CEOs from Asia, from around the world. All of those interviews are done online. They're all done via a video call. it was very critical that we had a reliable internet connection that would enable me to carry on these conversations with these icons from all around the world. That is one of the reasons why we're able to do what we do now. So if you'd like to work with Converge, check them out at gofiber.ph or connect with them through their social media channels. This episode is also brought to you by Perfect Health Philippines. Did you know that massages are considered one of the best ways to recover from exercise and is considered an indispensable part of any fitness training and recovery regimen? Getting a regular massage not only detoxifies your muscles from lactic acid buildup, but also increases muscle performance, blood flow, reduces pain, and induces better sleep. If you don't have access to a masseuse, the next best thing is a massage chair or a massage gun. Perfect Health has a complete lineup of massage chairs with a whole range of features and price points. Their top-of-the-line model, Perfection 2, has all the bells and whistles, from 3D full body and foot massage functions, voice command, Bluetooth, and zero gravity. Their Perfect Relaxer massage gun is a personal favorite of mine, which I use on my quads every time I come from a long bike ride. Methods to Greatness, in partnership with Perfect Health Philippines, has come up with a special discount promo that is exclusive to our followers and subscribers. To avail of the special promo discount, get in touch with Perfect Health's professional healthcare consultants at perfecthealthphcustomerservice@gmail.com or via hotline 02-8831-6944 and give the promo code MTG. That's the Methods to Greatness promo code MTG, and the healthcare consultants will hook you up with the best premium massage chairs, massage guns, and other healthcare products, all with a special discount. Okay, so let's now get back to the Robotics Rehab Center. So going back to your reason for opening up this new business, can you share with us exactly the transition from sleep to now, this new business, the Robotics Rehab Center?
Well, the robotics rehab is I see from the friend that introduced me, which was my supplier, seems to have a similar business model as the sleep center. So for services wise, like we are doing the sleep study test. So for the robotics rehab, is basically providing this equipment and rehab services in the center. I'm looking into how to make it ambulatory, but I think that will be something in the future. Maybe not really now. Patients using machine and going back home. There's also a solution for the rehab center because they have those soft exoskeleton where they have this robotic legs where the patient can actually put it on and try using it at home. So I find all this seems to be a very similar business model that we can just port over to the robotics rehab, from sleep center to robotics rehab. So yeah, so that's why I think it can be done, which made me wanted to go and step into this new area.
In terms of making it more ambulatory, can you give us an overview of geriatric care in Singapore? What's it like there? I'm sure it's not as pronounced as in Japan, but how would you say the population is aging, also vis-a-vis the manner by which the healthcare system is able to treat people who would need geriatric care in Singapore?
Well, I mean, for everywhere, I think aging population is always a problem, and including Singapore. They will have sleep problem, and then also they will have movements problem. And we are actually very much focused in our robotics rehab in the areas of neurology recovery, like stroke. So I think there is a role to play. There's a big role to play, and we need to have people that can facilitate this. So having more rehab centers, I think, really helps. And then we need to have people to drive these rehab centers.
Yeah, so these rehab centers very important. I came upon some information that according to the National Registry of Diseases Office over there in Singapore, falls count for 40% of injury-related deaths in Singapore. Now, the death is not due to the fall itself. It's related. It's related to the injury sustained from the fall, and this is where rehabilitation comes into play. Correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. So what are the I guess the factors that contribute to deaths stemming from an injury related fall?
I mean, if you have injuries from a fall and then due to a medical condition and all that, then I think treating it early, addressing the problem early is important. So, uh, and it also will, I mean, long-term effects like even psychological. So if you just leave it like that, I think a lot of people will just give up and they will not want to do anything. So you must give people hope of recovery. I think that is a very important factor. Like using effective methods, especially like using robotics, is important. So and for the people, for the therapists doing it, I think you also need to give them a sense of ease of using using the equipment and also doing their therapy, because I can see like conventional ways of the physiotherapist um, doing it is very labor intensive. It's very strenuous. Like they will be physically down on their knees and then moving the patient's legs and all that. So definitely you will have a lot of burnout from the therapist. Not only burnout from the therapist, but also from the patient, because it's very frustrating. So why not make use of technology, make use of robotics equipment and all that to make everyone's life easier.
Right. Can you give us an idea of the technology involved? What exactly do you employ? What kind of technologies? What kind of robotics do you employ as a case in point?
We using like exoskeleton. So this technology is actually not new. I mean, if you heard of the involvement of the exoskeleton, it's actually from like the U.S. Army. They
Right.
they they will design all these robotics legs and all that
Right.
for the soldiers to run faster and to carry
Right.
more heavy
Yes.
equipment. Yeah.
I forget what movie that was, but Matt Damon was starring in that movie, and he had this
Ah,
skeleton that made
yes.
him essentially superhuman. So are you talking something? Are you pertaining to something like that, similar, like
Yes, 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 yes.
similar to
I
that?
think that's how it was evolved. And then they built into like interesting games into it as well, so that when the patients are doing their therapy, they are into like augmented reality and virtual reality. So it makes the whole process fun and motivates them to do more.
Right. So
Yeah.
for those who would like to imagine what it's like, so what you're saying is right now it's possible to actually put on an exoskeleton to help you move, but at the same time do this within a 3D environment. So are we talking about 3D glasses? What is it like? What is the equipment like?
Well, the equipment is there's a treadmill where you can actually in front of it there's a screen. So that is the virtual reality stuff,
Okay.
and then you have the augmented reality where on the treadmill itself there are actually projections of obstacle courses where the patients has to go through. So it's a combination of both. Yeah, and for exoskeleton wise, I mean the technology is not that what you call safe yet to just put on robotic legs, and then
Mm.
they can move around uh, easily. So it's actually a more fixed onto like a treadmill where it's, and then there is a hoist for the body weight support. So they prevent it from patients falling. So I think there are a lot of safety what do you call concerns where I think the manufacturer DIH, which I'm working with as my strategic partners, have thought about all this. So I think their equipment and is very very mature.
So can we get very specific into the equipment? So what is it like if I were a patient to be, I guess, in this hoist? If, for example, I have just suffered a stroke, what is the experience like? You said so yourself. It's giving them hope. I would think it would be hard. I have seen so many movies wherein someone who has suffered a stroke or is paralyzed is just having a hard time just getting their one toe to move, right? So in this case, you're actually making it possible for them to at least try or attempt without the danger of possibly falling, or I guess the fatigue of having someone, a physical therapist, actually bearing your entire weight upon their shoulders. So what is the experience like given this new technology that allows for this to be done? Maybe in increments of what you're comfortable with, all the way till doing it in a more advanced level.
Well, the process is I mean, for setting up, maybe you need a bit of time, but it's so much easier than just conventional therapy of supporting yourself and then getting the therapists to hold on to you. So they have all these like harness and straps and all that to hoist you up using the body weight support. And I think every process of it is being thought of, and it makes it so much easier. And then for you to move, like conventional therapy, you might be just taking just a few steps, even 2 or 3 steps, and it's so tedious. And for this, you can go up to hundreds of steps within a short span of time. So there is so much intensity, and this thing is actually just repeating it again and again, and that's what you want. You want the intensity, and then you also want the number of steps that you can do. Yeah, so all this can be achieved using robotics.
Okay, so you touched earlier on making technology aid you in, I guess, um, making this more accessible, or making therapy more accessible to the elderly, who probably maybe some have given up or are intimidated with how things can be done in a more refined setting. So can you give us an idea of cases wherein you've helped the elderly transition to, I guess, a way to be able to conduct therapy that is, I guess, easier and less intimidating for them?
Well, I mean, during the opening of our center, we actually got a friend's dad who actually suffered from brain injury. So it's like half of his head is actually gone. It's all soft tissue without the skull. And I remember my friend actually told me that he was given like a death sentence, like there was no more hope from the doctors. But the friend knew about this robotics we had and insisted his dad doing it, and now he can the dad can actually take a few steps, and I think that is really remarkable, in the sense that it's uh, even the medical experts thinks that cannot be done. It's not possible, but so I think that is the hope that we can see. Yeah.
What does something like that do for you as an entrepreneur? I mean, what does it allow you to um, do? I mean, in the
To
context
achieve
of,
it. Well, I mean, we are in the medical business, so I think it's very important that we must help people to recover from a medical condition. So I think there is a potential, a great potential. I mean, from my sleep, and then now it's from robotics rehab. I think we are in the business of helping people. So yeah.
Okay, so anything else that you'd like to add to the future of of therapy, whether it's in your other business or whether it's in whether it's in the Sleep Wake Center or the Robotics Rehab Center? What kind of picture can you paint for us in terms of treating both these very important areas of medicine and treatment? Is there any fear? Is there any fearless forecast that you would like to give to us of how technologies will evolve as the years progress?
Um, I think it's keeping up with technology, and then technology is always the way to go, and making use of it. So yeah, so I think we have to keep up lah, with technology and to see what is the latest development that's in the market.
Okay. All right. Methods to Greatness, in partnership with Perfect Health Philippines, will be giving away premium healthcare products to our loyal listeners and subscribers. There will be weekly winners of Perfect Relaxer massage guns worth 9,900 pesos. And at the end of 12 weeks, we will give one lucky subscriber a chance to take home a fully loaded Perfect Health Trinity massage chair worth 200,000 pesos. All you have to do is subscribe to the Methods to Greatness podcast and follow us on our social media accounts on Facebook and LinkedIn, and share the post linked in the show notes of this episode on your feed. And if you know someone who you feel would benefit from our conversations and content on the show, tag them for more chances to win our prizes. We always want you, our listeners, to aspire to improve yourselves in every aspect of your lives so you can be the best you can possibly be. Check out the Methods to Greatness social media channels for more details. So I will now transition to the questions that I ask all of my guests here on the show. So first things first, as an Asian, as a Singaporean, I'd like to ask you, Chen, what makes you Asian?
What makes me Asian?
What makes you Asian, or what
Uh,
makes you Singaporean?
well, I would say Asia is a very versatile, very flexible, fast-moving economy. So I think everything we do in Asia is fast, 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 and efficient, and try to get everything done as soon as possible. So I see Singapore is a very a good, what you call, location, and also in terms of the demographics, because it's small enough. So getting from one end to the other end, it's like within an hour or so. So I think for efficient wise, it's good. It's great to live in Singapore.
Right. What is it about Singapore that you would like for people who maybe have not been there to discover? It could be anything. It could be food, a place, a person, a custom, anything that you would like for people to try perhaps when they go to
Now
Singapore.
Singapore is very multiracial, so we can find all sorts of food, and culture. It is a very, very mass culture mix here. So I think it's like, if you want to know more about Asia, so Singapore is a place where you can get a mix of everything.
Right. Anything in particular that you would like to suggest or recommend?
Well, I'm very much into Chinese culture, actually. So I'm involved in Beijing Opera and comedy dialogue. We call it a crosstalk in
Okay.
Chinese. So I'm involved in this, and then you can actually find all this cultural exchange and all that in Singapore. So I think yeah. So that's why I say you can get a mix of everything here.
Where might they go to be able to find this in Singapore?
Well, there is a what do you call, artistic club, opera club that I go to. So and then for Chinese culture, there's always a place like Chinatown is a place for Chinese culture. So the opera club is actually located there.
All right. Who to you is your modern day hero or superhero?
Wow. Well, when I saw this question, I was like a bit don't know how to answer, because my version of what do you call a superhero is actually unsung heroes, which I find like people that are not really well known in the society, but they are like a superhero to me. Even like the ones that is sweeping the road, for example, you know, he can be very focused and very committed to his job. And I think to me, this is like a superhero because he want to do his job well.
Okay, thank you for that. One question that I think is very, very suited to you, because this is a question that is very in line with what you do. I'd like to ask you, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up? I mean, is sometimes I could be like very deep in thoughts, maybe for my work or even for the family. So I think that keeps me up, and I think that's the same reason that keeps me awake, keeps me waking up in the morning as well. I could like all of a sudden I will think of something and then I will just spring up.
Right. As someone
Yeah,
who treats sleep conditions, is this something that is treatable? I mean, I have the same problem sometimes. My mind just is thinking of so many things. I kind of need to quiet it down.
yeah. So I think you need to find a way to relax yourself. I think that's important. Yeah. So it's something like hypnosis. You need to exercise some sort of self hypnosis where you relax your mind, and then even if you are thinking, you think of something that is soothing, that is relaxing, like probably even like going to the beach, listening to the to the sea, and then feeling the breeze blowing into your face and all that. I think that's something that you need to focus and find something that can relax yourself. I think that's important, and not to be so tense, so stressed up all the time. Probably also something that you might want to let go sometimes, and not just hung to it.
Learning to let go is
Learning
is
to let go is important. Yeah.
right. It's very important, especially for I guess type A personalities. You're always after something, or you're always constantly thinking of achieving, and sometimes that's one important aspect if you do want to uh, get some sleep. But specifically, you did mention about listening to the sea, or some kind of maybe natural sound. I did try an app once that played back either rain or the waves of the ocean, which I felt kind of helped relax, calm my mind. Is there anything in particular that you would like to recommend in terms of, I guess, small hacks that you can apply?
Well, I actually practice a clinical hypnosis before. So we go through like scripts of relaxation, like the gardening script, where you just walking in the garden and you see all sorts of flowers and the trees and all that. So it's a very a very, what do you call, not very exciting sort of a thing that you do, but it's a very what do you call, it repeats itself, and then it's like a rhythm, a very monotonous rhythm. So I think that actually helps to calm you, to relax you.
Right. When you say a gardening script, what would this look or sound like? Is it a manner by which you take yourself through a series of acts in your mind? Exactly how does this work?
Well, there are known scripts from the clinical hypnosis. So it's like how you walk through the garden, what
Okay.
trees you see, what flowers you see, and what is the smell like and all that. Yeah.
Can you give us an example of how you, like, from the top of your head, how you would go about this?
Well, example like, okay, how you walk into the garden,
Yes.
you see a gate, And this gate, while you passes through that gate, you will see a scene of greenery where below you is the green grass, and you see the angsana trees, and the trees are being kind of like shaken by the wind that is blowing through, or the example like this, like, so you kind of like this itself, you see, by hearing it calms you down already.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna doze off just 10 seconds into you describing the gate, and
Yeah.
but
The
okay,
tone of the voice is also important. Yeah.
I can imagine how that would work. This script, is it something that you invent in your mind, or is this something that
You will customize, yeah, customize to suit your interest. Yeah.
okay, so for all intents and purposes, you could actually make things along the way, as long as it's not too exciting. It's not
Yes.
exciting at all, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I think that is something that I'd like to try. I think as someone who is always constantly thinking of new things, and just um, always imagining like the next step, I think this is something that actually makes sense. Just calming your mind before you sleep, getting into a script that you yourself can make up along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something like daydreaming. So, even as a young boy, I always like to daydream.
Let me get now to my next question. What is the one thing you wish you could have known or learned sooner?
I want to say to be wiser, but I think that have to you have to go through the experiences, so the ups and the downs, before you can be wiser. And maybe a mentor, if I was to know the right people that can mentor me and tell me and show me the ropes of life. I think, but maybe when I'm younger, I might not listen to the wise man. So I think you need to fall. But after you fall, you must know how to get up and face the reality.
Okay, thank you for that. So, my final question, is there anything specific you do that you would like to recommend that I try? So, I always want to try something from what my guests do or something that they recommend. Is there anything that you would like for me to sort of try, or anything for that matter that I guess our viewers and listeners would like to try for themselves that works for you and you would highly recommend?
Try to hypnotize yourself.
Okay.
Try hypnosis. Try calming yourself down, and not always to be so fast paced sometimes. Learn to let go. Yeah, I think that there's a saying, a Chinese saying, that if you were to grab a handful of sand, so the tighter you grip the sand, the more sand will leak out from your fingers. So I think that concept is very similar. So it's like you must learn to let go sometimes, to relax, to calm.
Well, that I think we all have to learn from. Thank you very much for all of your input. I really appreciate you guesting here on the show. Is there anything that you would like to share to our listeners and viewers where they could support you? Anything, any business or anything new that you would like for people to know about or check out, and where they can find you?
Yeah, come to our sleep center, come to our robotics rehab center. Um, yeah, I think my contacts is available, right? So yeah, just drop me a WhatsApp, and we can chat to know more.
Okay, we'll put your contact details on the show notes. And yeah, maybe one of these days when I'm in Singapore, I would go for a visit and see exactly how you do things with both your companies. So thank you very much, Mr. Chien Han, for guesting here on Methods to Greatness.
Thank you all.
Methods to Greatness is powered by Converge. Experience better. If If you'd like to work with Converge, check them out at gofiber.ph or connect with them through their social media channels. Methods to Greatness is also brought to you by Perfect Health Philippines, a leading provider of innovative first-class massage and healthcare products across Southeast Asia. If you would like me to interview anyone on the face of the earth and want them on the podcast, or if you want to collaborate with us for future content or sponsorship opportunities, or if you just have any recommendations on how we can get better, just send us an email at john@methodstogreatness.com. That's john@methodstogreatness.com. Until then, we'll see you next time.